of the worst things that you can bring to the negotiation table is your ego, and here's why. Egocentrism isn't just selfishness, it's the idea that your experience is the situation, right? This is really damaging to any kind of attempt at resolving a conflict or even just your everyday relationships with your spouse, with your family, siblings, whoever. Because if you find yourself having an egocentric bias, and I'll show you in a few moments how to find out if you are and how to test your reality, if you are experiencing this, what this bias does is it corrodes the shared reality that you're trying to build with another person. So say, for example, a spouse, right? Husband and wife, if one person starts to believe that, hey, I'm doing 90% of the work while you're just sitting on your butt, without having any further information, right? We don't have enough information. This is very subjective, right? We don't know how the other person is experiencing it. They might be feeling like they're doing 90 and they're doing 10. You get what I'm saying? These two people are experiencing two different realities rather than the shared reality they had attempted to build in the beginning of the relationship. So this is a very corrosive type of bias, and it all comes down to your ego. Now, one way to test if you are experiencing this type of bias in your situations is to ask yourself, do I perceive that I have the full experience of this relationship? If somebody asked me what the other person in this conflict situation is experiencing, do I feel like I could speak for them? If the answer is yes, you might be experiencing an egocentric bias. And here's why. If you believe that you have the full picture all by yourself, you might not feel the need to inquire with the other half of the situation. Do you see what I'm saying? There are always two sides and two lived experiences. If you believe that yours and yours alone is the situation, you might be experiencing an egocentric bias. Now, there are some ways to overcome this. If you are a mediator or you yourself are experiencing this bias, one way that you can bring in some grounding or objective situations to kind of compare your reality against, one way you can do this is to focus the conversation on impact rather than intention. And this is one way to kind of move out of the subjectivity side of the conversation and bring some objective benchmarks into the conversation. So focus on how things landed, right? How things were perceived by the other person, how they were reacted to, and what the actual impact was, maybe physically or numerically, as objective as you can be, to kind of shift away from the subjective perceptions of the situation. So I hope this makes sense, and I can definitely give you some further tips if anyone is interested. There are lots of ways to move your ego out of the way, and I'd be happy to give some more tips on that. So I hope you learned something today. And this is just one of the many types of cognitive biases that are affecting your conflict resolution situations. And if you want to see what the other types are, check out some of my previous videos and stay tuned for more. I will see you in the next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and happy peacekeeping.